Yeah, here's one of the guys. He can tell you I'm okay. All right. Here, hold on. You want to call your mother or something?
You gotta get back from here. You know that. You gotta get back.
All right. Don't worry about me. You need to make calls right now. All right.
Listen, the 4-1 should have taken a couple of companies that they were leaving back to us that were stuck in the tunnel. So that's, they might be busy doing that. Check that out, all right?
Girders from the North Tower of the World Trade Center, weighing about 4 tons each, were found in the Winter Garden 600 feet away after the towers collapsed. How fast must they have been thrown to land that far away? That depends on what part of the building they came from. This simulation computes the necessary ejection speed for various starting heights to make the girders land where they did. Note that if the girders originated high in the building, near the airplane impact point, they would have had to be ejected at close to 50 miles per hour. However, the building wasn't falling very fast at the start. However, if they came from lower in the building, when the building was falling faster, they would have had to be ejected at still higher speeds to land 600 feet away. This is not a conspiracy theory. In fact, this isn't a theory at all. It's simply the laws of physics applied to direct observations. But facts cry out for theories. The proper role of theory is to explain the observed facts. What could possibly provide the horizontal push needed to throw 4-ton girders a distance of 2 football fields? Air squeezed from between the collapsing floors might puff out the dust, but surely not huge steel girders. The official explanations for the collapse of the World Trade Center fail to account for what is plainly observed. Forces besides gravity must have been at work on that day. A much more plausible theory, and one that is consistent with many other observed facts, is that the girders were blown out not by air squeezed from between the floors, but by explosive charges that were set in the buildings ahead of time. The government would like you to believe 9/11 is a conspiracy of Al-Qaeda operatives who hate our freedom. However, the facts of 9/11 point to a conspiracy of insiders who had access to the infrastructure of the buildings, the ability to coordinate the demolitions with the airplane collisions, the ability to cause a stand down of our air defenses, and the ability to orchestrate a massive cover-up. If you don't like these conclusions, you can reject the theories, but you can't reject the facts. You might try pondering how 4-ton steel girders ended up 600 feet from the base of the World Trade Center. Watch the many video clips showing the volcano-like eruptions as the buildings collapsed. If you want to learn more, you might start at 911speakout.org.
10:30, I tried to leave the building, but as soon as I got outside, I heard a second explosion and another rumble and more smoke and more dust. I ran inside the buildings, the chandelier shook, and again, black smoke filled the air. Within another 5 minutes, we were covered again with more silt and more dust. And then a fire marshal came in and said we had to leave because if there was a third explosion, this building might not last.
As we were getting our gear on and making our way to the stairway, there was a heavy-duty explosion.
Some of the people out, then there was those secondary explosions, and then the subsequent collapses. So I don't know how many people were there. I know there was a lot of firefighters.
New York's bravest never had a chance.
We really never even got to that close to the building. The explosion blew and it knocked everybody over.
The FBI is here, as you can see. They had roped this area off. They were taking photographs and securing this area just prior to that huge explosion that we all heard and felt.
Most of the victims so far were people outside the blown-up buildings.
Like, it sounded like gunfire, you know, bang, 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 and then all of a sudden, 3 big explosions.
To me, it sounded like an explosion, then the building, the rolling sound sounded like the building collapsed.
Top floors collapsed down. I saw it blow and then ran like hell. Thank God. I'm 69, but I can still run.
Next thing we know, it was boom, boom, and the floor started shaking. And then we saw debris fall down, and next thing we know, we had to get out of the building. We stuck on the stairs for a while. We finally got down to the lobby. Then we get to the lobby, there's this big explosion.
Well, me and Mr. Hesh, the corporation counsel, were on the 23rd floor. I told him we got to get out of here. We started walking down the stairs. We made it to the 8th floor. Big explosion. Flew us back into the 8th floor.
I was making my way to the foot of the World Trade Center. Suddenly, while talking to an officer who was questioning me about my press credentials, we heard a very loud blast, an explosion. We looked up, and the building literally began to collapse.
Rose Housey, one of our CNN producers, is on the phone. Rose, what do you got?
I'm about a block away, and there were several people that were hanging out the windows right below where the plane crashed, when suddenly you saw the top of the building start to shake, and people began leaping from the windows in the north side of the building. You saw two people at first plummet, and then a third one, and then the entire top of the building just blew up, and splinters of debris are falling on the street.
Listen, the 4-1 should have taken a couple of companies that they were leaving back to us that were stuck in the tunnel. So that's, they might be busy doing that. Check that out, all right?
Yeah, here's one of the guys. He can tell you I'm okay, all right? Here, hold on. You want to call your mother or something?
You gotta get back from here. You know that. You gotta get back.
All right? Don't worry about me. You need to make calls right now.
All right, that's